Wagner had problems in the number 5 car, and he'll be in position 28. Michael Carter, see above comment. Carter Racing Enterprises, the 08, going to be charging through the field from 27th. In 26th, the 81 is James Hayosh in the JTR Motorsports Engineering car. Hickson Motorsports Dante Tornello is alongside him in P25 for the number 27 car. One grid row further ahead, McCumbee Racing's Moishe Oreski has the number 55 car in 24th. He's got Ethan Tyler in 23rd for company from Hickson Motorsports. Thunderbunny Racing, Laura Hayes in 22nd position on the outside of row 11, and on the inside, David Starb for Slipstream Performance in the 36. Formidable Racing, Chris Noons in the number 32 car is in position number 20. In 19th position, Woody Hyman for JTR Motorsports Engineering. 18th, the number 31, Jameson Riley for Copeland Motorsports. In amongst some of his teammates, Tyler Gonzalez is one place further up the timing and scoring monitor in 17th with the 51 car. And Max Opalski, the number 2 car, is another one of the Copeland Motorsports machines in 16th position. On the inside of the 8th road, Jean Jourdain in the McCumbee Racing number 39. Matthew Dirks is in the number 76. He's on the outside of row 7 for McCumbee Racing with JTR Motorsports Engineering, Anthony McIntosh for company. That's the 69 car. Into the top dozen now, JTR Motorsports, Glenn McGee with the 23 car in 12th. Jensen Altman, McCumbee Racing in the number 13 in 11th. In 10th position, Bryce Cornet in the Hickson Motorsports number 65. So good afternoon to you. If you are just joining us live in sound and vision on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV, we're on racer.com as well. It's a beautiful afternoon here at Watkins Glen International. John Hindhaugh and Shea Adam with you, looking at the sharp end of the grid in a moment or two's time. But let's just remind you exactly where we are. Upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region, which is absolutely beautiful. Plenty of great reasons to come here, not least the hospitality and the scenery, but also one of the greatest pieces of tarmac that you can find anywhere in the world. Looking at the track map, it looks fairly easy laid out in front of you, but the downhill run into turn 1 and the braking area there, the very fast run through the inner loop, or the bus stop as some of the drivers call it. Got to have a car that's compliant over the curbs there, and then the last serpentine run to the flag, and of course the uphill S's at the start of the lap. Is that a chance to do some passing? I'm not entirely certain. Let's look at the front end of the field for you with the Mazda grid. Bryce Cornet in 10th position for Hickson Motorsports. Alex Pachura in 9th for Spark Performance. 8th is Sam Paley in the number 28 for McCumbee Racing. Jared Thomas in the number 96 in 7th for JTR. Formidable Motorsports, Formidable Racing, excuse me. Joey Atanasio with a late lap put him into into 6th position. Hickson Motorsports, Celine Roland in 5th. And then the front 2 rows, Spark Performance, Aaron Johnson in the 24 car on the outside of row number 2. He's got Bruno Cagnaro for Hickson Motorsports. A stunning performance from Bruno, who just looked really locked in every time he took the car out onto the racetrack. Justin Piscatel is on the outside of the front row in the McCumbee Racing number 89. And Connor Zilic takes pole position for Hickson Motorsports and the number 72. That, I think, is his first pole position, Shea Adam.
I believe you are correct on that, John. Connor Zilic has been a factor in every one of the races so far this season and last season when he made his debut at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. But this is the first time he's had that award next to his name. Problem for him is Justin Piscatel alongside very experienced driver, very savvy driver. Might not be happy with Zilic holding that first position for very long.
That was the voice of Shea Adam, who most recently has been patrolling the pit lane for us on Haggerty Radio Le Mans, out for the 24 hours, but has so much knowledge of the IMSA categories. Born into it, one might say. Her dad was a racer, you'll remember Bill Adam back in the day, and some stunning laps in Jaguars among other things.
And Mazdas.
And Mazdas, yeah. I was just about to say, has a big affinity with Mazdas as well. We're on the warm-up lap at the moment, Shea. Important part of the season that we're getting into now. How's the championship stacking up?
Well, it's Jared Thomas who's leading the way coming into the race this weekend. Car number 96, different livery on it. It's a metallic titanium paint job for the base.
What?
Metallic titanium is what I was told by Dave Thomas,
Okay.
the guy behind the team, but they still have the signature yellow roll hoop on that car. He's got just about 100 points ahead of Celine Royan in the green Austin Hatcher Foundation Hickson Motorsport car, so you'll be able to keep an eye out for those two. But the big story, the back of the pack, is where we find Gresham Wagner, third in championship, and 2 years ago champion. That would be Mr. Michael Carter for Carter Racing Enterprises. He had an issue yesterday, missed qualifying. Gresham had an issue in qualifying. Both of the cars are out on the pace lap, both of them at the back of the field, and they're going to have to work together, something that they're very familiar with doing, but they often dispute which one comes first.
Yeah, and they're more often doing that at the front of the field, trying to break up a big pack. We know that the drivers do this. It is such a tight championship, and for good reason. The cars are all absolutely identical. The only thing different is the driver. There's a bit of setup that can be done with the Multimatic suspension system. But other than that, really, these cars are so close, and the finishing margins bear that out. Waiting for the Mazda MX-5 safety car to pull right-handed into the pit lane, coming through turn 11, which is about to happen now. 45 minutes on the clock. A full field of 2-litre, 180 horsepower Mazda 4-cylinder powered MX-5 ND2s come to the line. The Idemitsu Mazda MX-5. Race 1 is underway at the Glen, and immediately down the inside, the moves are starting to be made. 1, 2, I was trying to count how many we had wide further back. I think there was 4, maybe 4.5 Mazdas wide early on. A couple of people going wide there. They'll probably be allowed that on the first lap, but at the front of the field, it's a perfect start from the front row. Conor Zilic has done his job.
What a beautiful sound as all the cars crossed under the start-finish line as well. Justin Piscatel dropped back a little bit. Celine Royan got a bit sketchy though, coming over the top of the S's, but Bruno Carniero working with his teammate, trying to break away from the rest of the pass, and then Celine Royan, he knows that he needs to win this race to try and get the championship advantage.
In the loop for the first time, you can't really go, see, I was about to say you can't go side by side too wide through there, but this is Idemitsu, and Mazda MX-5s didn't absolutely justify the laws of gravity and any other racing series. Brilliant stuff. 3 wide coming out the inner loop. Little drop of a BF Goodrich tyre onto the grass as they run down towards turn 6. I think this is a really tough corner. Downhill, and it slightly tightens. You always think you could have gone a little bit quicker through turn 6, but then when you do, you're in the wall on the right-hand side. The leaders are already through the toe of the boot, right in the midfield. Great battling going on as well. As usual, we should say this has been remarkably clean, Shea Adam. Am I tempting fate even saying that?
Don't do that, John. There was a moment there between Tyler Gonzalez and Anthony McIntosh as McIntosh went a little bit wide. Tyler stuck the nose down and actually got the pass made. That was for probably 16th position, as now McIntosh goes further off the field. Nunes is mixed up in this battling too, and already Gresham Wagner about halfway up the field.
Comes through turn 9, he's on the outside there in the red, white and black with a bit of green on that car as well. Keep an eye on the fast guys coming through. They were out of position. Did notice as well that there was 1 or 2 people who dropped back. Keep an eye on for Chris Nunes as he fights his way through the field, and as they come across the line for the first time, Conor Zilic has held on the lead from Bruno Carniero in second, Celine Roland in third, Jared Thomas, then Joey Atanasio, Sam Paley, Justin Piscatel, Aaron Johnson, Bryce Cornet and Alex Pachura were your top 10 as they went across the line at least.
The start is under review. Race Control is looking at certain cars for potentially changing their column before the start line, so that could become penalties for people, and a drive-through penalty here, that is not easy to come back from. If you lose the draft, you're really scuppered.
Rookie James Hayosh has dropped to the back. I noticed that about halfway around the first lap in the number 81 JTR Motorsports engineering car.
He did that off the start, John. He's very new to racing, just looking to try and get some experience. So he actually moved out of the way to let the faster cars, like the Gresham Wagner, the Michael Carter, the Aiden Fosnod, who are coming through, to try and give them the opportunity. He's just learning how to drive the car.
Big sideways slide for David Starb in the blue and white MX-5 there, the Slipstream Performance machine. He's trying really hard, and Shea has news from race control.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but Sam Paley was the car that they were looking at for the penalty. It has been issued, drive-through penalty for the false start.
That is going to be very, very costly for Sam. So coming to the line.
Watch for the blue number 28 machine. He should be the fourth car back in line. Yes, he does. He moves clear across to driver's right well before the start-finish line. Great call by race control to pick that up. You change columns.
Oh yeah, I know. That is just the excitement of getting to the green flag, and there was a big gap down the inside, and you almost saw when he got into that right-hand column, you almost saw him go, oh no, I'm pretty certain he knew exactly what he'd done there. He's right at the moment.
He's in fifth.
In fifth position behind Joey Atanasio. No, in fact, that's the 96 car. That's Jared Thomas that he's behind. So Joey was right up with them. He's dropped back a wee bit. Sam will stay to the right here, and he comes in to dive into the pit lane. Nice bit of driving. Did that nice and early. Now he's got to get down to the pit lane speed limit without ruining his BF Goodrich tyres, which he does. This is going to be painful. Cars going through. So already the top 15's gone through. Now the top 20. And now pretty much the whole field has gone through as Sam Paley will rejoin. Now, with 40 minutes, though, still left to go, what pace has Sam Paley got?
The 2021 Rookie of the Year is about to show us what he has up his sleeve. And right now, he's hoping that would be a yellow flag to try and bunch him back up to the field. We've seen it already, that you can drive up through the field. But for Sam Paley, it's going to be a long day if he doesn't get that yellow.
Contact in the middle of the pack with Luca Mars in the 50...
It was Alex Bashura who turned down on Tyler Gonzalez, who went a little bit too optimistic there, trying to follow Matthew Dirks through, and actually got the pass made. Now the group is catching back up together at the head of the field from fifth on down.
Yeah, the Copeland Motorsport car was the one on the inside, the 51, the man from St. Cloud, Florida, and Tyler just about squeezed through. I think that's okay, all fair.
And here we go again with Justin Piscatel, qualified second, dropping down to sixth in the field. He likes to save his tires for later in the race. We saw this at Mid-Ohio before the red flag came out for weather. Justin was dropping down the field. He told me he would have had a very good car at the end of the race because he was preserving everything for it. Well, we're still 39 minutes to go in this one. Maybe he's doing the same thing again.
Good lead from Connor Zilic at the moment. Oh, big moment.
Anthony McIntosh.
For Anthony McIntosh in the Le Mans winning livery, and that car, the 787, is going to be back at Le Mans next weekend for the Le Mans Classic, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, was there a little helping hand there for McIntosh, or something? Has he got his left rear puncture?
Yes, he does.
So I think there's been contact. He's actually done very well there, Shea.
He has.
To stay off the barrier.
I think that he was one of the first cars that had contact with Tyler Gonzalez, if memory serves, but that was a long time ago. McIntosh doing a fantastic job to will the car back around to the pit lane.
Yeah, that was at the toe of the boot, out of turn 6, and he's got to come into the pit lane this time.
Ooh. Celine Royan has dropped down the charts significantly. He is down to 10th position. Second in the championship, remember. Jared Thomas, championship leader, currently 5th. Connor Zilic is looking for the Rookie of the Year championship, but he's also looking for a race win. And Bruno Carniero is a guy who is doing race by race, trying to drum up the support to continue on in this championship. Nothing would give him more support than to come away with the win. Into the pit lane came the number 23. That is Glenn McGee. It hasn't been an easy day for Glenn.
No, absolutely. And I presume Anthony McIntosh came in as well. Please tell me.
Turn 9, stopped behind the wall. He pulled off to a safe spot.
Okay, good
That's
for him.
That's a good driver listening in the briefing.
Side by side, Gonzalez then having another look in that number 51 car and goes through. That's the bright orange, black and silver car. And look at the group behind them. The leaders have got away by about 4 seconds. And there is Celine Roland, and that is at the inner loop at the bus stop. Now, I can't see any damage there, but we could only see the front of the car for a moment. So Celine Roland, that is a huge story for the championship here. Having said that, we've got other championship contenders running down the field here, but my goodness me, Celine will be absolutely heartbroken there.
It's a huge story for Jared Thomas in that if he continues along well, he'll extend his championship lead, because Gresham Wagner, sitting third in points, was already 240 off of Celine Roland. So that's a big gap to try and make up over one race. DNF will not help Celine, though. Terrible, terrible news for a guy who just got engaged. Would you believe it or not? He's had a good couple of months.
So the chasing pack behind Silic and Canero, around about, as I say, 4 seconds behind them, as the leaders come through to our right-hand side, right up to the wall. Oh, thought of a pass here. Canero pulls out, maybe just getting a little bit of cooler air through the radiators to keep that 2-litre 4-cylinder 180 horsepower engine cooled down. There's a nice move down the inside by Gonzalez. He's looking really very impressive indeed, and he's worked his way up through that train. Remember, it's not that long ago he was in the middle of that train coming through, and we saw that quite forceful move down at turn 1 when I tried to call him Luca Mars. Now Roland out of the car.
Yep, full course yellow is out.
Oh.
Celine could not get the engine to refire, so he exited his car and got to a place of safety. Heartbreak for the Central Florida native.
Sat in the car waiting for the command from the corner workers to get out, and that has only come as we've neutralized the race with 35.5 minutes to go. Now, for those who are down off the back of the field, this is absolutely manna from heaven.
Sam Paley will be thanking
Wow.
his lucky stars right now, because although his drive-through penalty was a while ago, it will still help him get back up to Moisey Uretsky, Laura Hayes, David Staub, Ethan Tyler, Michael Carter. Well, the first 4 he's very familiar with being able to pass, but Michael Carter is going to give him a run for his money to try and catch back up to some places. Very impressive drive so far. It has to be said, Gresham Wagner up to 14th after starting 27th.
Bruno Canero in second position. First came to the attention of Mazda. He was selling door-to-door, selling coupons to fund his Team Miata program.
From the Rodizio Grill.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant stuff.
I met him at Mid-Ohio, went over and had a chat with him. He was in the middle of his lunch, but he was still nice enough to talk to me and give me a few minutes of his time. He does this based on what he and his dad can afford, and he affords what he can by selling those coupons still.
Good for him.
Very hard-working young man.
Race teams have been funded by far more bizarre things than that down through the years. That's good hard graft. Nobody's going to knock him for that. So the field's coming back together. This should not be a difficult recovery, says Hindhoff. But thank you anyway to our course marshals, corner workers, recovery, of course, as well, our medical staff, and indeed everybody with whom we've interacted, as ever, here at Watkins Glen International. Everybody from those on the gates checking the tickets, telling us where to park. Very courteous. Lovely to have a little chat with Linda on the gate this morning. And the Chevy safety truck is there. Looks like a flat tour's going to do it for this, and they will be able to take him through the NASCAR run through the short chute.
Yeah, hopefully they can just bring him in past a few campers out there at the boot and manage to get back in, because I know that there is that cutout right between the bus stop and the boot, so that would be fun for people to get a glimpse of one of these cars up close and personal. But most important, get the car fixed and back out for tomorrow, so the championship hunt continues. Into the pit lane comes James Hayosh, our newbie for this weekend, making a visit down. Is he going to stop in his box? Yes, he is. So maybe there is something ailing that 81 machine, or maybe James is just keeping out of the way. His whole point of this weekend was just to learn about the cars, the track, and this has been a learning experience thus far.
They're looking at the left front wheel and tyre, and yeah, they are bringing the jack round, so maybe he has picked up a little bit of damage. They're going to change that 4-stud race alloy on the front end with that BF Goodrich tyre.
I've noticed, by the way, that we've been talking about Gresham Wagner and Michael Carter as being very impressive in their charge back up through the field. Aiden Fosnacht has jumped all the way up to 10th position. He did make one pass that looked to me maybe a bit sketch going through the pit blend line early on, but there was no further call on that. He has passed, what would that be now? 19 cars so far on today, and there is a hard charger award at the end of this race. Right now, it's going the way of Aiden Fosnot. Gresham Wagner doing a great job so far, though. I'm going to be keeping an eye on him on this restart up into the 14th position. Max Opolsky and Matthew Dirks right in front of him. Those are two feisty drivers as well, so this is going to be very exciting. Glenn McGee catching up to the back of the pack as well, by the way, trying to fight for the 25th position on the yellow flag kickoff. Our leader, Connor Zilic, is kind of hoping that we stay under caution, don't you think, John? Best finish of second so far this year.
Well, yeah, but he was so quick in those early stages. He might feel that he wants to get a little more of a wiggle on. He certainly seemed to have the pace to be able to pull away.
Hickson Motorsport first and second. Copeland third. Formidable in fourth. Where is Joey Attanasio's teammate in Formidable? That would be Chris Nunes down in 16th,
15th position. That's been a good drive already. This also, by the way, good news for Glenn McGee, who dropped to the back of the field in the JTR Motorsports 23. He'll have an opportunity to gain back up. There's a bit of a gap, I think, as they're coming through. No, they've closed it up. That's reasonable.
I've just been handed a note that honestly makes me want to laugh and cry at the same time. The ages of the top four drivers: Joey Attanasio in fourth is 17. Bruno Carniero in second, is 22. Tyler Gonzalez in third, 17. Connor Zilic leading the way, 15. Combined age, 71.
Just under what Joe Bradley's birthday was.
Hey, no.
Yesterday. Excellent.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Mo Murray, for that little bit of intel.
That's four drivers there.
Four drivers.
Four drivers. Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. Well, still under caution is the 30 minutes to go. Mark is about to elapse now, and we have still 27 cars out on track. It's a really good showing. The entry list, when it came out for this race, you knew it was going to have some superstars on it because they want to come race at Watkins Glen.
Don't forget, you can always get in touch with us using the Mazda MX-5 hashtag at IMSA Radio. Good to have your company wherever you are in the world. And I know there are people tuned in Europe who are very excited to be able to watch on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV and on racer.com as well. Under half an hour to go.
Just checking on the points really quickly, looking outside of the top three. Sam Paley in fourth. Remember, he's at the back of the field. He's the one who's going to be most excited about this full course caution. Joey Attanasio is fifth and looking to pass Sam Paley if the positions stay as they are. Justin Piscatel is sixth in points, and he's got a little bit of work to do to try and get up to the top five. But then Chris Nunes and Connor Zilic, this would be a massive points day for Connor. This would move him up, by my counts, well within the top three.
Okay.
Given the struggles of everyone else, it should be said.
Well, we have managed to recover Celine Roland's car. And the light, almost light custard, creme anglaise coloured car has gone behind the wall. And now the safety car lights are out. So the MX-5 that is leading will pull right-handed, and we will go back to green for the last half an hour or thereabouts of the first race of two this weekend at Watkins Glen International for the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5s for 2022, presented by BF Goodrich Tyre. To the line, single file restart this time, and here they come. And Zilic gets a good start. Carniero is thinking about it and got a little tap there from Tyler Gonzalez. He's bump drafting him through to the lead. Gonzalez goes down the inside, the number 21. I'm not sure even if he wanted to, but he didn't have a choice because he was being ushered through by Gonzalez, who's gone through to second, and following through to third, Joey Attanasio, the formidable racing car. That's the black with the green car, and the man who restarted in the lead has dropped back to 5th position.
Jared Thomas making it up to 4th position as well. I think you're right on that. Watching Carniero's hands on the restart, he was hard on the brakes and clearly not slowing down because there was another Mazda just helping him into the braking zone a little bit deeper, but it worked out for Carniero for now. Let's see how long it takes before Gonzalez makes another move as Justin Piscatel goes for a wild ride through the entry to the bus stop,
and
manages to recover.
Leader went very wide on the exit of the inner loop as well. Shea and Gonzalez has got his chance, and there's a spin behind there as well, right in the middle of the pack, but the lead has changed again. And I was going to say that is going to be an incident. There was at least 2 or 3 cars involved.
That's Ethan Tyler in car number 80, John, for Hickson Motorsport, the young man who's only making his second
Full
weekend.
course yellow.
Full course caution is out, no surprises there, and another car also involved. Rear left wheel is askew on that car. I think that was broken suspension there.
And that
oh, Matthew Dirks.
Well, Matthew started that. I think he got he lost it or got rear-ended coming out of the inner loop, and he was facing the wrong direction with the pack coming in. I just saw him go around. Meantime, we did have a change of leader there twice in that first part after the grid.
David Staub was also involved in that incident in car number 36. The front end of his car is askew, and Glenn McGee is circulating slowly, but Matthew Dirks continuing around. Lots of white smoke pouring out of the right rear of that car. That looks like body rub on the BF Goodrich tire.
That's the number 76 car with, well, they build them tough. The Fliss brothers make sure that these cars are ready to go racing. It is a proper racing car. More than 250 specific racing parts, including, of course, FIA safety roll cage and fire suppression systems. And we've got a bit of bodywork to be picked up as well.
That's a lot of debris across the track.
So the lead battle was going on, and Gonzalez goes down the inside, and then behind, it was the 76 that went around. So that was Dirks that went around and started it all. So that was how it started. I just caught a glimpse of that as we were watching the lead battle. Tyler Gonzalez, who was basically saying to Bruno Carniero, no, you don't brake there for turn 1. Let me help you find the right position to actually put your foot on the middle pedal. And they went through into first and second. And then a little mistake from Bruno coming out of that inner loop. He, in the middle part, actually just went a little bit wide and had to lift off, and that was all the invitation that Tyler Gonzalez needed in the 51 Copeland Motorsport car, and that is the situation at the front of the field. That'll click over the next time they go across the line. Now, there's quite a bit of clean-up to do here. It's the big bits are easy to get. It's the little bits that need to be taken offline.
Yeah. Dirks is into the pit lane, by the way. It looked like that incident started for him on his own. He went off to driver's right into the grass, spun, and then when he came back on the track, just collected Ethan Tyler. Wrong place, wrong time. David Staub then getting lightly, as it looked from our camera angles, I'm sure it was much different from his angle, lightly into Ethan Tyler, who wound up in the barrier.
If he'd only lifted off the brake when he was pointing the right direction, he might have rolled down the grass there. It is quite banked down to the inside of that corner and just started to come up. Ethan in the two-tone blue number 80 Hickson car with nowhere to go, and that's rear suspension damage there. And you said David Staub was involved as well.
Yeah, the front of his car is bent in. He has stayed out of the pit lane, though.
Okay.
The McCumbee McAleer crew guys looking at that 76 of Matthew Dirks. It was a really good weekend for Matthew in qualifying, as far as the race was concerned. 2 pole positions. He did get a podium in race number 1, but race number 2 didn't go his way, and he's going to be feeling a bit of that bad luck again today.
The team members not really deciding whether to bend it back into shape or pull the rear bumper mounts off. It's under review, and you're right, 36 was involved in that as well. David Staub for Slipstream. I'm not sure that unless something was the catalyst for that started the 76 car going around.
Oh, not the mallet.
Matthew Dirks, well, they need to get the bodywork away from where the tyres are going to be.
Yeah,
and they're
well,
racing first thing in the morning.
yeah, there's not a great amount of time to try and repair the cars for tomorrow. Now let's get another look at this and see if further back. Matthew Dirks was racing with Chris Nunes and Gresham Wagner. I wonder if race control is looking at if either of those cars had anything to do with Dirks winding up on driver's left.
Yeah, good point. It was an odd place to lose it because he was sort of out of the inner loop.
Race control is currently checking to make sure that there was not a possible change of lead under the yellow flag conditions. They have decided it was a legitimate pass for the lead, but they were checking on that.
No, that's, and look, we've seen, throw your mind back to Daytona, we've seen leads change at almost the moment yellow flags have come out.
Well, and Michael Carter with his dad on the radio, wasn't it, at that time, saying make the pass now. That resulted in Michael with a win at Daytona. So you are spot on with that, John.
Yeah, and that was Jensen Altsman who spun coming out of turn 2, and they were on the high banks, and there was an opportunity coming into the bus stop there, and that was the pass that was made that won the race in a phenomenal weekend at Daytona. 21 minutes to go, safety car out, cleanup underway, and damage repair underway in the pit lane.
Moisey Uretsky is also into the pit lane, so McCumbee McAleer with 2 cars that they're currently attending to. David Staub has decided to come into the pits, and I believe that is the hand saw that they are utilizing on David's car to try and cut the bumper away from where the tire would perhaps intersect it.
Some real battlefield engineering going on here to try and get these cars back in. They'll be trying to do this without losing a lap, but I think it may be beyond that. Now, the issue with the 76 car, and that's why the IMSA guys around there talking to the team, is whether that is a structural or a safety part. So the pass for the lead has happened now. And, now, who was that on the grass in the background in that? So the pass for the lead had definitely happened.
It was Piscatel who went through the grass at the entry to the bus stop, but I was trying to spot further back to see if Dirks was just within the realm of Nunes and Wagner. Could not tell from that angle.
I think some of the, and another big wiggle. Now.
That was it.
Okay, so a secondary pass for the lead. So Piscatel with the yellow wheels going through the grass. Great pickup by Tape Apes, and I say that with much affection. So there's the pass for the lead. That's fine.
That's Gonzalez going through on the lead.
To the lead, yes. Yep. But Cañero then with a bit of a wiggle down at turn 6 for the then leader, Tyler Gonzalez. The action's going on behind them at this time. They're racing down towards turn 6. Looked like Tyler just lost the front end a little bit, had a wee bit of a wiggle, and now that is where the lead may have changed for a second time.
And that's where race control deemed that it was okay when they went back and looked at it again. But Tyler Gonzalez has now been dinged for aggressive driving.
I'm saying turn 1.
He's been given a warning.
I'm saying that was down to turn 1.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. He will say that all he was doing was showing Bruno Cañero where the real breaking point for turn 1 was.
Exactly. You can go so much deeper, Bruno. Here, let me help you.
Now, this is interesting because now, did they get out just before? I think they did get David Staub just out before the safety car.
Chapeau slipstream performance.
Wow. So the saw used on the front right-hand side, and then he gets to the pit. Now, hopefully he won't get pinged for pit lane speeding, and they just about timed that right before the red light came on at the end of pit lane. And he got out and got in front of the field. He'll be able to speed back around. I think we'll be going green shortly with 18 minutes to go in the first of 2 races this weekend at the iconic Watkins Glen International Race Circuit here in upstate New York. It's the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship for 2022.
Matthew Dirks is back out there as well. McCumbee McAleer managed to get that car into a drivable state and out in front of the safety car.
Now, let's see where the safety car line is for Staub coming out. He's got a decent wiggle on and tight.
But if the pit light was still green, then he was okay.
Yeah. I think it might come down to what the safety car driver says. He's hustling round to the back of the field, I'll tell you that now. He's coming up to the heel of the boot, and the safety car, that still does not look a happy Mazda, does it? And there's something underneath. I think that's part of the engine tray that's normally right underneath the motor.
Are the lights still on, or have they gone off on the safety car? There was a lot of debris to clean up just at the top of the S's.
Work.
We really do have the best safety crews in the world.
17 minutes to go.
Dirks has already caught back up to the tail of the field.
Now, he is a lap down, though, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. It was more crucial for David Starr because I think they were trying to keep him on the lead lap.
Well, David Staub is showing as 1 lap down now, but he hasn't caught back up to the safety car train.
Exactly right.
Matthew Dirks is showing as 2 laps down.
Right. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that.
But there's
so
16 minutes of...
There goes David past us now, so is he now back on the lead lap?
Correct.
Yeah, that's why they were trying to get him out.
Yep, and there's 16 minutes and 30 seconds left in this race. There are a lot more than 2 laps left, so he could make up more positions.
Yeah, he's just going through turn 1 at the moment as the safety car with the lights out, as Shea Adams says, is about to peel into the pit. Stand by for more action. So, Bruno Canhero did get the lead back legitimately at turn 6. Race Control have seen that, so 3 different lead changes in the 3 quarters, not even that half a lap of green flag that we had after the last yellow. Here we go again, just under 16 minutes to go. They're passing us now. And again, Tyler Gonzalez right on the rear bumper of the leader. Now this time, has Canhero remembered where he's got the brake? Round the outside, here comes the 43. That's Joey Atanasio in the green and black car, and for once this time the man in second place loses out just a wee bit.
Matthew Dirks back into the pit lane. His car still clearly not as he would like it to be out on track, so he has come back in.
Now Atanasio in the black and green car is pushing the leader Bruno Canhero. Dirks comes back to his team.
Atanasio is going for the lead. He's got Tyler Gonzalez pushing him into the braking zone at the bus stop. Gets it done, and Gonzalez is through 2 into second.
Yeah, and look who else is coming through as well. Connor Zilic is back in that fight in the number 72 car. He slipped down a little bit earlier on, but he's right there again now. Watch out for that red, white and black car in, what, is that 4th position at the moment?
Yes, it is. And behind him, Bryce Cornet. We've got Aaron Johnson, Justin Piscatel, Jared Thomas, and Aiden Fosnacht into the top 10.
From the back of the grid.
From the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Well, second to back of the grid. I think Michael Carter was back of the back.
Now down the inside, the Soul red and white car. That's a very nice move through the toe of the boot, side by side with the number 24 as well. That's fantastically good racing, really good. Aaron Johnson in that 24 car, that's the white car. Used to seeing him in those darker red colours. And off.
Sam Paley.
Trying to fight back from that first lap, in fact coming to the green flag penalty, and that looked to me to be the toe of the boot on the driver's right. That'll be another full course yellow, I think.
Yep, I'm with you on that, John. Yep, full course caution is out, so stop making your passes. Tyler Gonzalez, get back in line. There you go. Call has come through. Sam Paley is getting out of his Mazda. A heartbreak for the championship contenders today, John.
Yeah, a little bit of smoke coming off that car as well. See from the door shuts, the cars all come out of the Fliss workshops in white and then get their paint jobs or wraps.
He just pulled off.
Yeah, but there was a wee bit of smoke coming out of the back right of that car. Now, and he stopped it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder if he thought something, maybe he felt a bit of heat where he shouldn't have had it.
But it should flat toe. That's the good news.
That's
the wheels are
one.
pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, that's true.
So hopefully a quick yellow.
There's a safety vehicle just off to his left-hand side at the other side of the track. So once they get the clearance, they should be out there. This is a unusually fractious first race here. We haven't really got into a rhythm. And Sam Paley is, I think, talking to his team. He's plugged himself back in. He's about as far away from the pits and down in the dip there. Safety team have arrived. And They have got the fire crew there as well. They clearly saw or were advised of the same potential problems as Sam thought he had. They're just looking underneath the back of the car before anything else happens. IMSA safety crew, the AMR safety crew have arrived as well in their Chevy truck. Having a chat with the driver. Flat toe, I think, will be the diagnosis. Chock being put behind the left rear BF Goodrich tyre by the safety crew. Very nice.
Sam putting his steering wheel back on, though.
Yeah.
He's clearly expecting to be pulled away.
And I think he's been told to kick it out of gear to see if they can move it, and that's why they put the chock in behind. Not always easy to get a sequential gearbox back into neutral when you haven't got engine power. Motorcyclists will tell you that as much as race car drivers.
We haven't noted yet that there are points that are awarded at various intervals of this race. Leading the most laps is a point. So right now, pretty good toss-up, I would say, between Bruno Carniero and our pole sitter, Connor Zilic. Joey Atanasio having recently taken the lead, so he's not in the running for that yet. Bruno, I would expect, would be the leader of that. Fastest lap of the race, well, that is going the way of Bruno Carniero thus far. And pole position, 10 points for that as well. That would be Connor Zilic. Why do points matter? Well, 250 grand. That's why it matters. That's what you get at the end of the year. And it pays all the way down to finishing in 10th position in the championship.
Yeah. And this is why that, you know, often...
There's also a championship for Rookie of the Year, I should say,
yes,
too,
of
which
course.
Connor Zilic is going for. That one is just, you know, $80,000.
Well,
just worth it for a season of racing.
Yeah, real cash folding money as well, as I've heard you say on a number of occasions. Yeah, often these championships are seen as stepping stones to other things, and whilst we've seen plenty of talent come through Idemitsu Mazda MX-5, talking to particularly the front runners, some of these guys have already got 3 and 4 years and more under their belts. And that's because this has become a destination, not just a stepping stone. This is really cost-effective racing. You can buy the car and run it on a reasonable budget. And if you're at the sharp end of the field, you can make the lion's share of your costs, your running costs back, and you've always got a car to sell at the end of it.
Exactly, and hopefully with some divine provenance to go with it as well, from winning championships and whatnot. But this is a bit like that vacation that you always aim for, and you want to keep going back to the same resort because it's just got your heart. That's what this series has become for so many different people. And we should also say there's other financial scholarships available as well. Connor Zilic is racing in this series because he won the shootout last year, which was $110,000. You had Bryce Cornier, who wound up with a large chunk of money as well, as Laura Hayes, because they didn't just give the scholarship shootout winner the money, they gave it to second place and to the fastest woman as well. So Mazda taking care of their own, trying to foster the growth of people in through the championships, but like you said, not necessarily to matriculate.
And what we know is that entertainment-wise, the situation is that we are in between major sessions for the Pilot Challenge and for the WeatherTech Championship. And we know team managers and drivers and various other people who will be on the wall watching this, as Sam Paley is being towed back. And there are plenty of infield roads here. So he is already off the racing surface. So with the safety car at the inner loop and heading to the outer loop at turn 5, we should be able to go back green this time around for, I would think, somewhere in the region of 6.5, 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think we've got 5 former series champions racing in other series this weekend, as well as the big show. So it very much is a platform for people to, if they so choose, develop a career. If they would like to stay in this series, like we've seen former series champions do in the past, they can do that as well and continue to have success.
Yeah, just reminder that there was a warning for Tyler Gonzalez, the Copeland Motorsport number 51 driver, for aggressive driving.
Yep.
Nothing else done. David Starps back on the end of the line now. And the other car that is a little bit off the back, well, we have seen Matthew Dirks go back out again in the 76. He's just coming past the scene of his incident. And this time it will be Joy Atanasio for Formidable Racing who'll bring them back to grid.
Just a quick update for those at home watching out for the Hard Charger Award, which again is real cash money. That is Gresham Wagner, who's currently in P12, having gained, that would be 16 positions. And Michael Carter is P16, having gained 13 positions. So that's still very much alive too. Aiden Fosnock not eligible because he was moved back for the technical infraction.
Correct. I was about to say that. You beat me to it.
One brain, hive mind.
Safety car lights are out. Safety car is in the pit lane now. I can see it. And now Joy Atanasio, he's dropped well back. He's given himself the opportunity to come through turn 11 at pace, and that's exactly what he's doing. 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. It'll be spot on 7 minutes as they come to the line. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing. Once again, the lead three. Atanasio, Cañero, and Tyler Gonzalez. Gonzalez very late on the brakes down into turn 1 and does it again. And he makes that look very easy, and I'll tell you it's not. Downhill braking, it really puts the pressure on the front tyres, which have to stop and turn at the same time. And that was a brilliant move, and he's straight on the back of Atanasio. The black and green car then leading from the orange and silver and white car in second position. There's about a Mazda MX-5 between them and the chasing pack. Connor Zilic right in there as well, trying to make a move. 1, 2, 3 wide. Here comes Aaron Johnson in the lighter coloured car, the 24 on the inside. Oh, and on the grass. Zilic on the grass, and they'll have to go through the tyres and wait and rejoin, and they've lost a handful of places. And behind them, that's going to cause problems. Around goes the 82.
Woody Hyman.
Hyman stops in the middle of the road and just about gets away with it in the JTR Motorsports Woodco distribution car.
Thankfully, we didn't have to find out if the numbers were on the bottom of Woody's car, as Dave Thomas has assured me they are after his accident at St. Petersburg. All four wheels, all cars managed to continue. Jared Thomas looking to make a pass now on the number 13. Wow, he makes it stick, and he brings with him Gresham Wagner. Here we go.
It's Bryce Conner, isn't it? The 65 car, actually, that's right in there. And he has managed to take a full advantage side by side at the front of the field. Gonzalez, another downhill braking point at turn 8, he's gone through, and that is Aaron Johnson in the 24 right behind, side by side with Atanasio. Atanasio is in there, I can tell you. You can't see the Mazda because he's so close to the back of the 51 car. And look at this as well, coming up behind them.
Aiden Fosnock.
Fosnock from the back of the grid to 4th position.
And then there's Justin Piscatel just looming ever so slightly, waiting for the chaos to play out ahead. 5
minutes to go at this pace. That's probably 3 laps. It'll depend when they come across the line next time around. No, it is going to be 3 laps, I reckon. So to the front, Tyler Gonzalez is scored as the leader. This time he led briefly, barely a corner and a half in between 2 of the yellow flag periods. More side-by-side action further back, and that is the 65 again, Bryce Conner.
With Gresham Wagner going toe-to-toe, coming up through the field. Now, looking at the battling 5, we have only Tyler Gonzalez in that field who has won a race so far this year. The other 4 will do whatever it takes, and I think that's what we're going to get in these 4.5 minutes.
On the back stretch, Atanasio bump drafting the leader, goes to the outside. And straight away, Johnson dives down to the right-hand side, sees the opportunity to follow the leader through. He might get pushed wide. He does get pushed wide. That's going to cost him a position to Fosnock. If Fosnock can hold on round the outside in the dark colour car behind, there's a huge off for Connor Zilic, the Hickson Motorsport car. He was helped into that, I think. Got a bit squirrely in the middle of the inner loop, and that will be that, I'm afraid. Yellow flag will come out, and we'll have to see the safety car again unless he can drive that away, and I don't think the left rear of that car is going to allow him to do that. So the 51, Tyler Gonzalez, is confirmed in the lead as the safety car is called for. They're at the toe of the boot at the moment. And Aiden Fosnock, I think, did he get up the third there?
Yes, he did. Aiden Fosnock from the back of the field after a technical infraction in the post-qualifying area has come up to the podium. What a drive for that young man.
That is an awesome restart from all concerned at the front there. Aaron Johnson played his part as well. But what bad luck for Connor Zilic. Pole position. And didn't have it all of his own way. It was all going ahead of him, as he was watching what was going on. Big sideways moment. And
this was earlier.
He dropped down through the field with a tiny bit of a BF Goodrich on the grass. So that put him where he shouldn't have been. Then the big spin and a fantastic piece of avoidance.
By Laura Hayes for Thunder Bunny Racing.
And then in the background, was there a slight touch? Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
Yep. Bruno Carniero, was it? Getting into the back of Connor Zilic with Chris Nunes right behind them. Oh, that's hard. That's two teammates, John, both with Hickson Motorsports.
I have a suspicion that the race control team will want to have a look at that. Bump drafting on the straight is all right, but you can't be banging on someone's rear bumper through the corners. Difficult for us to make that call from what we've seen. It is the last lap. I'm sure that will be looked after post-race. The good news is Connor's out of the car under his own auspices, and having a look at the back of the car, probably didn't want to do that. That's not going to make him feel any better, is it?
Nope, that is not comforting, that's for sure. Tyler Gonzalez making the pass and getting it done before the yellow flag came out. That's important. He has yet to be on the podium. Since that initial race win, he was well and truly clear of the carnage behind. Chris Nunes was well ahead, yet Carniero just got into Zilic. Zilic had his wheels pointing the wrong direction for the corner in that one, and then managed to go backwards into the wall.
Nearly saved it.
Nearly got it, yeah.
I have a suspicion that there might be some auto body shops down in Watkins Glen environments that might be getting some business this afternoon and evening and being asked to stay open overnight, particularly anyone who's got jigs. There are some spare cars and spare parts here, of course.
But we do know that those body shops exist and are nearby because we've utilized them in the past for other manufacturers.
Of course.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I said it. These cars are racing again tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Straight after the WeatherTech Championship practice session tomorrow morning.
Our race goes green tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that's a, what, 21 hours?
You say so. I can't do that arithmetic at this. No, it's not a lot of time to straighten up a Mazda MX-5.
But it can be done. And as you said, there are spare cars in the paddock as well. Michael Staub did not come to the race this weekend, but his car is here. So perhaps we'll see a blue MX-5 Cup car, usually run by Slipstream.
There could be a bit of dealing to be done in the paddock later on in an unusually destructive first race of the weekend.
It's not official with crossing the finish line as of yet, but it should be Gresham Wagner, car number 5, in the 8th position at the checkered flag, as we expect him to be, who comes home with the Hard Charger Award, having passed nearly 20 cars.
So coming through the last couple of corners behind the safety car will pull off into the pit lane. That does not allow them to go racing. Well, actually, it might not, but we will not go back to green flag racing. But how about this? Tyler Gonzalez then for Copeland Motorsport ahead of Joy Atanasio for Formidable Racing, 51 from 43. Two 17-year-olds on the top two steps of the podium. Aidan Fastnacht in 3rd position in the number 15 from the back of the grid.
With his first ever top 10 finish in the series, it's a step on the podium for Aidan Fastnacht.
And they're spread out across the line. I like that. That's a nice shot. I hope somebody got that. That's a really nice shot to give them all an opportunity to see the checkered flag rather than coming through line astern. So let's just confirm them. Tyler Gonzalez, subject to post-race technical inspection, who wins it from Joey Atanasio. Copeland from Formidable. McCumbee Macaleer Racing, Aidan Fastnacht, perhaps the unlikely 3rd step of the podium, having started at the back after a technical infringement. The 3 coming across the line, pretty much in line. No passing allowed, so Atanasio, might have been a bit tight there. Actually just lifted off at the right time. Smashing formation finish. Aaron Johnson, he had to do some work to come in 4th position ahead of Jared Thomas. Jensen Altsman quietly working his way up into a 6th position finish in the number 13 McCumbee Macaulay Racing machine, and they will have 3 cars in the top 7, with Justin Piscatel recovering from his grassy moment to 7th position. Spark Performance Gresham Wagner in 8th gets the Hard Charger award. 9th Bruno Cañero for Hickson Motorsport, and in 10th Chris Naines for Formidable Racing. Who do we reckon was the best of the rookies there then, Shea?
Best of the rookies, Joey Atanasio.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah,
yes. I was looking down beyond him, of course. He's 2nd place and takes the Best Rookie Award.
Fantastic drive for Aaron Johnson with his best ever finish. Have to say, he looked a bit racier than maybe 4th position, but hey, we'll have to wait and see what he can do in tomorrow's race.
He will be telling everybody that if that had stayed green, he had a step on the podium.
No, because he's not that kind of a guy.
No,
he's more humble than that.
I think he was right. I thought these racecraft coming into the inner loop where he decided to stay on the inside, that was superb stuff. Absolutely superb. And the Future Stars Racing machine is just 1 step off the box.
He was the Spirit of Mazda winner last year. He demonstrated that again today.
He's got his head in the right place this weekend, and that is clearly a very quick car indeed. We'll watch these cars into the pit lane with a reminder that they are back. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot more work for some teams than others. A lot less opportunity to celebrate for some teams than others. But it will be Copeland Motorsport who have the biggest smiles on their faces.
And Jared Thomas holds on to the championship lead provisionally. We should say all of this is provisional, but it does really help Joey Atanasio, who came into today's race 5th in points. He was behind Celine Roland, Gresham Wagner, and Sam Paley. 2 of those 3 didn't finish today's race, and one of them finished behind him significantly. So it will be a jump up the standings. Fastest lap going to Bruno Carniero as well, by the way. That's going to help him in today's race. 9th coming into today. He should jump up at least 1 position. A nice
move by the rest of the field to just let the top 3 pull away a wee bit as they came through turn 9 and 10. They'll bunch back up again, but that was a nice moment for the podium sitters.
How cool is it for Tyler Gonzalez, by the way? You stand on the podium at Daytona International Speedway, and then the next time you make it, it's at Watkins Glen International. Not too shabby.
And he will pilot the Copeland Motorsports car right in front of us, picking his way through the next set of cars due to come out onto the track, onto the checkers of Victory Lane. And Tyler Gonzalez, the 17-year-old, with his first victory in the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5, sorry, 2nd victory in the Mazda MX-5 Championship. And once again, the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship in 2022 has delivered us some great racing at the front of the field. Rather too much yellow flag running, but that is dictated by what goes on. We're not criticising at all when we say that. Unusually untidy for a first race of the weekend. What will we have for race number 2? There's Dean Copeland down with his driver and already texting, getting the social sorted. Race 2 tomorrow. There'll be some repaired cars. There'll be some stories told tonight down at the Seneca Lodge. But we'll be back to see it all unfold again for another 45 minutes of action with the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Championship for 2022. Join Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh, as we do it for you tomorrow at just after 10 o'clock here at the Glen. Beautiful afternoon, and it is afternoon now, just after 1:15 locally here at Watkins Glen International. Welcome along if you're joining us wherever you are in the world on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Great to have your company. John Hindhaugh and Jeremy Shaw in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre. Sound and vision coming up as we get ready for race 1.